what questions do you have for me about the homework? What can I help you with? Yeah.
Do number 22.
22. All right, let me go to the end of this. Problem number 22. Phones away, please. That one?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, so let's apply what we know. Sit back here until Emmanuel comes. I'll sit behind you, bud. Sweet. All right, so let's think about this the same way we were doing. So 4 times -2 gives me -8. You feel comfortable with that? So now I need to add the exponents. So 3 added to -3 is 0. 0 added to 7 is 7. Done. What else do you see? What other problems do you see on that page I can help you with? Number 10 might have been one that you're not quite sure how to do. Okay? So we're going to hold off on this one until later in this chapter. But for those of you who just can't wait to know what the answer is, n equals -1. But we'll get there. Okay? We good? Yeah. You got it. 26. So I got 2x squared, quantity to the third, times 3x to the third, quantity to the second. Okay. So I have 3 of these basically I'm multiplying together. And I'm breaking this into a simpler version for now. And then I have 2 of these that I'm multiplying together. So that's basically what the math that needs to take place. So let's take care of 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. 24 times 3, I think, is 72. You okay with that so far? And then we have all these exponents. So let's do 2, 4, 6, 9, 12. Done. What else? Are we good? Happy? Everyone's week is starting out hopefully positive. All right, so let's go to, I don't even know what page that would be. I guess it's page 183, but the page number doesn't show up on it. All right, so the very top of it, we've taken care of this, we've taken care of this, and this might have been something you might have seen. But today, we're going to take care of this. Okay? So, it's a little game that I bet you at some point you played, and then they made it illegal for a little while, and now it's back to being legal again. Remember the whole tug of war thing? You have a whole bunch of people on one side of a rope, hopefully on the other side of a rope, and you pull as hard as you can. Tug of war. And some kid in California lost a thumb, so they banned it from high schools. And now it's back because it's like, okay, one person in like 300 years losing a thumb playing tug of war doesn't constitute a pandemic. That's what they claim. All right, so let's take a look at this. I have x to the 6th on top. I have x to the 4th on bottom. So we're going to do tug of war between top and bottom. Does that make sense? So if I did tug of war, so tug of war. Some people might say tug of war. I don't know which is the right, but it's one of the two. So if we were pulling between the top and the bottom, who would win and why, would you think? Top or bottom? Top. Top wins. By how many? 2. So x to the 6th over x to the 4th is just x squared. The top one, we no longer have a bottom. If we had flip-flopped those, and it happened to, bless you, happened to look like this. So this is just the flip over. If we had that, the bottom would win. So our answer would be this, because there's more x's on bottom than there is on top. So if you flip it over, so the exponent, we just kind of think about it as a tug of war. Okay, it's getting pulled from one place to another. Okay, pretty simple. Childhood games, I like it. All right, so let's move on. I think that's your next one. I didn't find my copy. All right, so problem number 1. Let's just talk about the exponents right now as they sit. Tug of war with the x's. Who wins, top or bottom? Top by how many? 3. And then the 2 just comes along for the ride. There's nothing to reduce. It's done. So first thing I want to do is I want to reduce 6 over 9. What does 6 over 9 reduce to? What number goes into both 6 and 9? 3. 3 goes into 6 how many times? How many times does 3 go into 9? 3. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to move along our little line. Tug of war with the x's. Who wins, top or bottom? Bottom by how many? 2. Oops. Let's take a look at the y's. Tug of war with the y's. Who wins, top or bottom? Top by how many? Done. All right, 12 over 6 reduces to? There's 12 over 6. What?
6.
Not quite. How many times 6 go into? How many times 6 go into 12? 2. So I get a 2 on top. I'd have a 1 on bottom. I don't necessarily need it. Let's look at the x's. So if x is sitting there by alone, that's x to the first. Who wins on x's, top or bottom? Top by how many? 1. So I can keep it as x to first. I could make it x if I wanted to. Tug of war with the y's. Who wins, top or bottom? Top by how many? 4. Good. Tug of war with the z's. Who wins? This is a tie, so they cancel out. So here's my answer. I guess I could rewrite it to be this if I wanted to. I think both of these answers are 100% appropriate. We good so far? So in the reality, what's actually taking place is we are subtracting the top exponent from the bottom. Okay, that's basically what's taking place. I like the tug of war. It makes sense to me, and I think it makes sense to students. So if you continue just doing tug of war, you're totally fine. But that's really what's taking place. We're subtracting the top exponent from the bottom. But then that doesn't tell us what happens if we get a negative exponent. But we'll get there. All right. So if I have a number that's raised to the 0 power, it means I have the answer is 1. Okay? So any number or letter other than 0 raised to the 0 power equals 1. Okay? So you could have 7 to the 0, 10 to the 0, negative 3 to the 0. These all give us 1. I could have x to the 0. That equals 1. But if I have 0 to the 0, this is undefined. Okay? So 0 is the only one that kind of throws a little wrench in that game. All right? So moving down. So my question for you, this is in parentheses, so everything in here is raised to the 0 power. So what do you think the answer has to be? 1. Okay? Ooh. So then we have power to a power to a power. Oy, oy, oy. Well, we can work from the inside out. So power to power and multiply. So get x to the 18th raised to the 0. What's 0 times 18? 0. So this answer is 1. Okay, do you understand how I got the 18? Because it's power to power and multiply the exponent. So 3 times 6. 3 times 6 times 0 is 0. A base being raised to the 0 other than 0 is 1. Hang on, I got to sneeze. It wants to come out. That's it. That's all I got. I was expecting more, but that's all I gave you. All right, so to the 0. Now we have a negative exponent. Okay, a negative exponent If I spelled correctly, I'd be a much better teacher. Wants to move from location. Okay, so I'm going to just leave that there for a second. The negative exponent wants to move from its location. Okay, so I'm going to take this 4 to the negative 2, and I'm going to put it over 1. That should be about the same exact thing. When I say it wants to move locations, if this moves down, I'm then going to get 4 to the second down on the bottom. Okay, it moved. I didn't flip the fraction, it just moved. What do I put as a placeholder? Not x. 1, good. Placeholder is 1. If everything moves from a location. So this fraction did not actually flip over. A lot of people would say it did. No, the 4 to the negative 2 moved down, moved locations. It either moved from top to bottom or bottom to top. Once it moves down, once it moves, then the exponent changes signs. Okay? Once it moves, then the exponent changes signs. This is where we have to be a little cautious because some of the things might have a negative exponents, other things might not. And when you're doing the tug of war stuff, you want to get rid of the negative exponents before you start doing a tug of war. All right, so let's see. So what on number 6 has the negative exponent? The whole thing or just the x? Just the x. So the answer to this is 3 over x to the third. Okay? This was the part that wanted to move down. It moved locations. All right, so I have negative exponents here and here. I don't have any other negative exponents. So let's go through the math. 5 over 10 reduces to 5 goes into 10 how many times? 1 over 2. There you go. I think you said that. X's, tug of war. Who wins? X squared, right? So the x squared is a tie, so they cancel each other out. Now I want to move the y's, so I'm going to have y to the third on top, y to the square on bottom. I moved them. Tug of war with the y's, with the purple y's. Who wins, top or bottom? Top by how many? 1. Just y to the first, or just y? Tug of war with the z's. Who wins? Bottom by how many? 2. So I guess you could clean this up. You don't necessarily need 1y. You could have y over 2z squared. And that's done. Everyone doing okay? So the general rule is here. All right, let's work some problems. All right, I'm on page 185. You still with me on this adventure? Let's look at problem number 1. A to the third times b to the second. And they tell us that a equals -2, b equals 3. So what does it appear I should do with this problem? Yeah, so I'm going to plug in a -2. Notice I have it in, I put it in parentheses. Then I'm going to plug 3 in. And then we're going to do the math. So -2 times -2 is +4. +4 times -2 is -8. And then 3 times 3 is 9. -8 times 9 is? Giddy up. And it's okay if you show those steps. Okay, a lot of people are like, oh, you don't want to show that step. Why? It's not showing the thought process. Problem number 3. We have -40 a to the -3. So where this confusion starts taking place is the -40 is still going to stay on top. What happens to a to the third? A to the -3? Goes on the bottom. Why did the -40 not go on the bottom? Because -40 is just -40. It's not a negative exponent. Oh, and then they told us, what did we need to know? We knew that a is equal to -2. So I'm going to go -40 over -2 to the third. All right. We just did -2 times -2 times -2 to get -8. So this is going to give me -40 over -8. Negative over negative is positive. 40 over 8 is? How many times 8 go into 40? 5. So your answer to this is just 5. All right. Do we feel good? Are you writing these down on page 185? You realize I'm doing some of the homework, right? I'm going to keep going, if that's okay. All right. 4 to the -2. What do you think this would rewrite as, not having a negative exponent? Very good. 1 over 4 to the second. What is 4 to the second? Good. There's my answer. Number 7, I get x to the 5th, y to the -3. Which value needs to move? The y. It's going to move to the bottom. Moves to the bottom, the exponent changes signs then. Seem okay so far? Number 9. What's x to the 0? 1. Do any of the exponents move? The y goes downstairs. Z squared stays on top. The 1 comes from the x to the 0, so I could clean this up to give me this. Notice I can't tug of war it, right? Because I have 2 different letters, so you just keep those exponents as is. Can I move on? What time we at here? 11? Okay. Number 11. So we get x squared, y to the negative 2, w to the 0, z to the negative 2. All right, something's going to happen to the ones that I highlight. Something happens here, something happens here, and something happens here. And it's not all the same thing. So right now I know that x squared's happy where it's at. Agree? What's joining x squared now? Yeah, z to the second. What's moving downstairs? What was this? Yeah, y to the 0 is 1. So I could put the 1 down there, but there's no reason to. No tug of war because x's and y's are not the same thing. So you can't reduce them. All right, now I'm on page 186. Ready? Number 13. I get 2 to the 7th over 2 to the 5th. Tug of war, who wins, top or bottom? Top by how many? What's 2 squared? Done. Number 15 is this. Okay. Tug of war, who wins on the x's, top or bottom? Top by how many? 3. Tug of war with the y's, who wins, top or bottom? By how many? 3 as well. Good. Done. Make sense? Dude, who's calling me? Yes, that is a train horn. Y'all know I love trains. All right. So I did this in my other classes the other day, and I want to make sure I did it with you all. Okay. So you do not need to know how to do this on the calculator at this point. But I want to show you, because we're talking about exponentials. Okay, still with me? I want to show you how something works on the calculator. Again, you don't have to know how to do this. We're going to go into something called the TBM solver. Okay, so my friends, I'm going to show you a very simple way, the most simple way in the world to be a millionaire. You with me? We want to be millionaires, right? We want to have money. Okay, starting at age 20, that's a few years away from all of you, yes? From age 20 to age 60, we are talking about 40 years. So notice I'm putting a 40 up top, but I know there's 12 months. There's 12 months in a year, so we're talking about 480 months. This is from age 20 to age 60. You still with me? So this chart that's right behind me is basically what stocks, bonds, and things have done. So over the past, since 1926, mutual funds have earned, according to this, about 10%. Okay? So 10%. So we're going to invest in a mutual fund. I don't know which one. I'd say go with large cap American funds. We're starting with a previous value of 0. And we are going to put $200 every month starting at age 20 until age 60. Now, this is a very cheap way of doing it because, of course, you're not going to always just invest $200. You're going to make more as you go into your careers. So you'd put more and more in it each month as you progress through. Okay? P/Y, C/Y means that we're compounding. So if I invested $200 starting at age 20 every month, okay, for 480 months, that's going to give us $1,264,815.916. Okay? Friends, that right there is over $1 million. That right there, if I go 480 times 200, that's 96,000. So you're investing 96,000 over the term of 40 years. So from age 20 to age 60. Okay? This is a very cheap way of doing it, but this is how exponents work. If I told you right now, hey, give me $96,000 and you would have over $1 million when you're 60. I know you probably don't have $96,000 liquid, but that's a pretty good investment, right? You don't think so? You want the billion now? I understand, but sometimes patience is a virtue, my friend. All right, now watch this. I told you you invested yourself $96,000 to get that over there. So now watch this. Ready? So I'm going to keep my money. I'm now going to reverse what I made. So that's what I made. Did I do that right? 1, 2, 6, 4. Oh, I have one too many 8s in there. Delete one of the 8s. All right. So now I'm going to keep my money in the same mutual fund because it's been good to us. Now we're going to go from age 60 to age 90. So we're talking about 30 years, and there's 12 months in a year. But I'm going to have my money pay me back. I'm no longer investing. I'm going to start taking an equal amount of money back each month. So I'm not investing any more money. I'm not doing a payment. I want my future value to go to 0. So now, this is how much I'm going to get a month from age 60 to 90 on my original $96,000 investment. So friends, you're going to get $11,099.66 a month. So $11.99. So let's just do this. 11099 times 30 years times 12 months. So your original $96,000 investment on the payout of your investment earned you almost $4 million. Okay? Now some of you are like, oh, I don't know if I could live off that a month. Well, who knows what you can live off of when you turn 60. Oops, I'm going to go times 12. So your $11,000 a month turns into $133,000 a year that you're bringing in. Friends, this is a very basic way to become a millionaire when you retire. Okay, I kid you not. I kid you not. I just did the math. It's all related to exponential growth. Okay? Yeah, but what if? Yeah, I've been investing a long time. I've been investing since 1988. So 1988 is right here. 1988. Oh, we were at a low. It had a dip. Grew, dipped a little bit here in 1990. Continued to grow, dipped a little bit. Grew, dipped. Oh, 2008 hit. Oh, poor us. Oh, no. COVID hit. Oh, poor us. No. Good for me. You want dips to take place as you are investing because it's very possible you might invest in a share that was worth $150 a share and it dipped when you went to invest and it went down to $120 a share and then it went back up to $150 a share. So you've net profit $30 on that share and it compounds itself on interest. My friends, this is not a hard way to become a millionaire. This is a very legitimate way to become a millionaire. And I would highly encourage you when you are seniors, you think about taking my business calculus class. It's a 1-semester course. Don't let the word business or calculus deter you. I'm the only teacher of it. So I'd love to have you in there. But we talk a lot about this kind of stuff. And I have a lot of students in that class that their wheels are turning going, I can do this. Okay? But just kind of a fun thing. All right, so let's work a couple more of these out. Let's see. Should we do number 17? Okay. That's one less for you all to do, right? Eight x to the fourth, y to the -5, z to the third. All right. So let's look at the 12 and 8 first. What is 12 over 8 reduced to? 3 over 2. 4 goes into both. Very good. Tug of war with the x's. What happens? Do what? They cancel out. Good. They're the same thing. Ooh, hang on. Let's see if we can do this. This wants to move up. So if that moves up, how many y's do I have up on top? 7 plus 5? 7 plus 5?
Oh, 14. No, 13.
Nope. 12. Okay. This just becomes 1, right? So I have z to the third on bottom, and it's done. Number 19. 2x raised to the third. Oh, that's a quantity, so we have to make sure we pay attention to that. All right. How many of these 2x's do I have? How many of those 2x's do I have? 3 of them. And I have x, y to the third over 4x to the 7th y. Okay, let's do some math here. 2 times 2 times 2 is? 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is? 8. And I still have the 4 on bottom. I have x, 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 x. How many x's do I have on top?
3, 4.
4. So that's x to the 4th. And then I have y. I have y to the 3rd on top. Then I have x to the 7th on bottom I hadn't touched, and y on bottom. So what's going to reduce? Look at the 8 and 4. So what does it reduce to?
2.
And that 2 is on top. Okay, because that's a 1. That becomes a 2. Tug of war with the y's. Who wins, top or bottom?
Top.
X to the 4th, x to the 7th. Who wins?
Oh, I think it was.
Bottom by how many?
3.
3. Good. Tug of war with the y's, and that's y to the 1st. Who wins, top or bottom? Top by how many? Done. Yeehaw. Dude, this stuff isn't that bad, I don't think.
It's not the easiest part all year.
It's okay. We started hard and then we let off easy,
Yeah.
right? Made you guys like me again, right before we start doing surveys. So now you just start doing the student surveys going, oh, I don't remember all the bad stuff Syrup did. You only remember the good stuff. It's designed that way. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. We didn't design that way. No, be honest with me on your surveys when you do them, please. You know, if you think I'm a cruddy teacher, tell me. Let me know. If you think I'm a good teacher, let me know. If you think I can improve, let me know. If you're like one of my freshmen that showed up today for the 4th day this semester, I don't need to know what he knows. I kid you not. 4th time this semester. Hey, what'd I miss? Nothing. We sat around waiting for you to get here. That was actually the comment I made to him. Well, I'm going to come in every day after school and get help. No, you're not. Well, that's not right. Well, I have plans after school. All right, let's see. Number 21. -5 times 3. I think that gives me -15. And then -15 times 4 is positive 60. Okay, I don't have anything on bottom. X to the 5th, x to the 4th. How many x's do I have?
9.
9. And then y to the 6th. There's nothing. I'm not canceling anything. I'm just combining like terms. All right, can we do number 23? And we'll be done with the odds. Being I didn't record any odd answers. Sorry, I've let you all down. So this one is one that's going to get us in trouble because we're going to try and do it all in our head. And that's not going to work. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to think about things that need to move. All of the things that I've underlined up there need to move spots. Okay? So I'm going to rewrite it with things moved. I'm going to highlight what moved. That moved. This moved. This moved. And this moved. All the things in purple have moved, or whatever that color is. All right, so now we can start reducing. Let's see. 6 times 2 is 12. 2 times 4 is 8. How many y's is this?
5.
5. How many y's are down here?
6. Nope. 15.
So I have y to the 5th on top and y to the 15 on bottom. Who wins tug of war, top or bottom? Bottom by how many?
10.
Yeah, baby. All right, let's change colors. All right, so we took care of those. How many x's are down here?
4.
And how many are up here?
8.
So I have what? X to the 4th, x to the 8th. Tug of war, who wins, top or bottom? Top. Almost done. What's the last step I could do here? Has to do with the 12 and the 8. Reduce. 4 goes into both. 3 over 2, x to the 8, y to the 10. Page 185, 186. Make sure it's all done. We did the odds, which is good. I did, but